Hey boys and girls, welcome back. Alright, so we have a slight problem here where every time we select an item, the previous selection remains until we refresh and start selecting again. We want this action to only work if we hold down Control or Shift or something similar like that. Yes? So how exactly can we fix this problem? Well, the thing is, once we set a class here, the only thing we need to do is unset it. Oh, why did I click here? Looks like I did some magic. Look at that. Awesomeness. Yay. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so I got lost there playing with my own toy. Anyway, so what do we do here? What we need to do is to be able to go through every single item in there, and then once we get there, we remove all the selected class from it. And then once we do that, then we can add a selection. So this that we are selecting here, we only select after we remove from every single table data item. So how exactly do we remove from every single one? Well, we can get the T-body and then go through every item in there, which is not as difficult as it sounds. So let's go here for a second. So we know that the children of T-body, for example, if I happen to go into here and inspect the element, you will see that there's T-body. Inside T-body, there's table row. Inside the table row, there's table data. So those classes, the class of, let's see if I select here, you see that the class is added there in real time. Even the second one here, as I move through here, I can see the item to click there. So if I click on this one, you see that a class comes there. So these are the items I want to be looking for. So all I need to do is get T-body, get all the table rows, and then loop through the insides of each table row and remove the classes that exist. Okay. Yeah, so what I shall do here is this. I will say for each, no, actually just the for, like that. And then I will use T-body. Now, T-body has what I called children. So I will use them children here to do my bidding. So I'm going to say dot children, like that. Yes, so T-body.children.length, because every item that has children inside it will have this children thingy here. Okay, so if you want to see that, let me go to for a second here, let me say let's go to the top here. I want to show you this so that you know what I'm talking about. Let's say console.log, yes, and then let's say T-body, like so. So we want to log the T-body there so that you see what I'm talking about. So if I do refresh here, you see that inside the console, T-body has been logged. But the interesting part is if I click down here, you see all these inner HTML, of course, is a lot because there's a lot of stuff in there. But what I'm looking for in here is children, which is right about here. So if you see children is an HTML collection which contains children in there. So if I click here, you see everything that is in there. So this already contains the items we are looking for. We don't need to grab them at all. They're already in there. So we're going to use that to our advantage. So let me undo this rather quickly. Redo. Yes. So for each child, so this one, I'm just going to say at the end dot class list dot remove selected. Yes, like so. Very good. I could use an if statement in here and say if it is set, then remove it. The only problem is if statements are quite slow when it comes to programming, because what the software does, it loads a lot of instructions in the memory before it can run them. That way it helps to cache them so that it's faster. But if you put an if statement somewhere, it doesn't know if the if statement is going to be true or false yet. So because it doesn't know which set of instructions to load after that if statement. So it's going to wait a bit. This is why if statements are slow. If you can avoid them, just avoid them. So let's come back here and see if our problem has been solved. Let me click here and let me click on something else. So definitely our problem has not been solved. So why is this? Well, that's because we're removing the class list on the children of tBody, right? Now remember that the children of tBody are table rows and not table data. So what we need to do is, while we are looping through every row, we have to loop through the children of tBody. So how do we do that? We need to add a loop within a loop. So here I'm going to add another loop. I'm going to say for, like that. And then this one here is going to be, let's see, tBody, the children, children, yeah, something like this. It can get a little bit confusing, so I want to make it less confusing here by setting a variable instead. So I'm going to set this variable to tr, like that, short for table row. Let me not use capital letters here because my text editor became excited and changed its color. So I'm going to just say table row like that. And then here I will set the table row to, I'll say var table row is equal to the current tBody child here. So I'm only doing this to make it easier to read. Otherwise I would have used tBody.children.children again. It would still have worked, but this is more human readable. So what I will do here, this is the table row. So I'm looping through the table row here. Now, this is very important here. Keep in mind that we are looping through here using the variable I. So this I has a specific value, but if we come here and still use I, we're going to override the value that is in here. This is going to cause a very unpredictable looping system, which you may not like. So very important, when you are looping inside a loop, make sure you change the variable of the second item. So here we're going to remove I, and let's think of something we can use, maybe X. You can use any letter there, it doesn't really matter, it's just a variable. So var X is equal to 0, that way we don't mix this X here and that X, the I here and I there. Okay, so hopefully that's clear. So here now we're looping through the table data. So then we can get this and say table data. So we don't need .children anymore. We just say that item .class list right here. Bam. Okay. So yeah. tBody, wait a minute. That children I, this is the table row. And the table row .children here as well. Sorry, I almost forgot that. .length. Yes. And then here table row .children as well. Like that. Yeah, so this is where this would have become tBody.children.children, because we're going into the children of table of tBody. Well, it gets confusing sometimes, but do not be fearing, it's going to work anyway. So let's do that. If it doesn't work, it's going to give us an error, and then we'll be happy to solve that error. So let me remove that because we don't need it no more. And behold, let's give it another try. So I'll click and I will click here. I will click there. So as you will see now, we have gone through every one of those and we are deleting them. And now only one item is selected at a time. Isn't that awesome? Very nice. Now that we know exactly what item is selected, we need to give it a variable that will tell everyone that that is the selected item. So let's go to the very top where we are assigning variables, and then we're just going to say, oh, so we have active cell right there, right? What are we using this for? So let's find out. Active cell, edit, right? That's the active cell. Active cell. Okay, that's very nice. So let's just do selected cells, because we can select more than one, is equal to something like this. That's an empty array right there. Okay, so selected cells right there. Let me copy this, and let's go down to the very end. So you see, this is the one that is selected, e.target. So all I need to do is say selected cell dot push. So we're adding to that array, push to the array. We are adding e.target to that array. Very nice. Okie dokie. And wait a minute, actually what I need to do here is, instead of adding to it, I need to empty the array before I add to it. So I'm just going to say selected cells is equal to empty array, and then add 1 to it. That way there's always only 1. Now the reason I made it an array is because there are times when you need to hold down Control or hold down Shift in order to select multiple cells, which we are going to add to the array. But in this normal case, we empty it before we add a new item. Okay, so far looking good. We'll see how we can use this later on. Now what we need to be able to do is to use the arrow keys on our keyboard to move between cells, so we don't have to use a mouse all the time to change the selected cell by using the keyboard.